Thank you very much, Mrs. Hughes. I invite you, Honourable Member Mr. Damon, to make a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and all other honorable members of this House, I stand here in true earnest to support this budget presented by the Honorable Minister of Finance under the theme, A Better Guyana for All Guyanese. This is a budget, I think, that will boost the confidence of every sector in Guyana. Mr. Speaker, be it agriculture, education, security, health, local government, electricity, and many more sectors in Guyana. Mr. Speaker, it is indeed the budget Guyanese were waiting for. In Region 2, more small businesses would benefit greatly from this budget, and new ones would come on stream, which would create employment. Mr. Speaker, if we proceed in any other way to develop our country as proposed by that side of this honorable House, it spells doom for this beautiful land of my birth. Mr. Speaker, in Region 2, our rice farmers are producing to their capacity, and I talk about rice, of course, more than 1 million bags per crop. Mr. Speaker, it's because of this situation our millers sometimes dominate the playing field and pay low prices for paddy purchased from farmers. Mr. Speaker, I propose that from the $500 million in the 2014 budget, a 5-ton mill must be built in Region 2 with part of that sum. And I hope the members of that side of the House don't use their cutting equipment. Mr. Speaker, I want to congratulate the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and the PPP administration for making rice farmers, and of course agriculture a priority in Region 2. The PPP administration stands resolute behind rice farmers throughout Guyana. Mr. Speaker, in Lima, the water purification plant is serving residents of Region 2 well. Congratulations, Honorable Minister of Housing. All 7 housing schemes in Region 2 building are going up at a rapid pace. Mr. Speaker, this is testimony that this PPPC government is here to stay, says the people of Region 2. Mr. Speaker, the 2 ferries continues to do a fantastic job, flying the Essequibo River from Parika to Supernam, return daily. No more speculation by truckers and businessmen about when goods and produce will reach their destination. Mr. Speaker, road lights on the main public road are moving at pace, and as I speak, these pole lights are at Jib Village, 8 miles from Charity. In this 2014 budget, more pole lights would be mounted from Jib to Charity. Honorable Minister of Public Works and the PPPC administration, thanks for a job well done. The residents of Region 2 are very proud to have pole lights along the public road. Before, it was a distant dream under the PNC. Mr. Speaker, from 2012 to 2014, more auto dealers have opened their auto shops, selling all models of vehicles. This is proof that the 5% growth Guyana achieved, we as Caribbeans are part and parcel of it. Honorable Minister of Finance, we heard you and we responded so that Guyana continue to achieve its growth. Mr. Speaker, special kudos must be paid to the Honorable Minister of Education, Minister Priya Manichan. The people of Region 2 continue to give you their support, while some of their children continue to achieve high passes at the CXC examination, second to no other in the Caribbean. Mr. Speaker, Mistress Hack in 2013, Ms. Gita Passad in 2014, Ms. Zilmeen Rashid in 2014, and Ms. Dacia Kamlo of Tapakoma, a Amerindian community, in 2014. And they are all top students in the Caribbean, of course. Mr. Speaker, this is testimony to the best knowledge given to them by their teachers and the Ministry of Education. Free school books, new desks and benches, free laptops, computers, hot meals at primary level, well-established dorms, new schools, all can be seen in Region 2. Minister, you have our children's education priorities right. We salute you. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Minister of Education made her presence felt at the Anna Regina Multilateral School sometime in August. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Minister of Education made her presence felt at the Anna Regina Multilateral School sometime in August last year. The minister did not come alone. Every head of the education department of the ministry was presented, and the minister and her team met with more than 500 teachers and reminded the teachers of their responsibilities at the schools. Mr. Speaker, it was a day of good discourse between the Honorable Minister, our team, and teachers presented. Mr. Speaker, let it be known to this House that yours truly and the Department of Education, including the Honorable Minister, engineered said meeting. Mr. Speaker, these are some of the arrangements MPs on that side of the House could do to help promote their regions instead of coming to Parliament crying foul. Hats off to you, Honorable Minister of Education. Region 2 would remain very competitive. Mr. Speaker, after our budget debate, we plan to have our minister visit our region once more to meet all our teachers at the same venue, and the budget in focus will also be on our agenda. Let me daily state, Mr. Speaker, that our ministers would also, other ministers will also be invited to the Region 2 to talk about the dispensation of the budget 2014, a caring budget for all Guyanese. Mr. Speaker, in drainage and irrigation, a huge pump will be installed at Lima to help pump excess water into the Atlantic Ocean. All testimony, the PPPC government is committed to help our farmers of Region 2. Mr. Speaker, our Amerindian brothers and sisters are not left out from previous budget, and 2014 budget makes provision for all of our Amerindians in Region 2 to benefit the villages of Mainstay, Tapakoma, Mashabo, Bethany, Kabakaburi, St. Monica, Kawap, Wakapau, Akimini. This PPPC government is committed to our first people wherever they live. Mr. Speaker, in this budget, our first people would continue to stand tall in Region 2 and throughout the length and breadth of Guyana. Mr. Speaker, the county of Essequibo continue to attract lending institutions in the form of banks. As I mentioned in 2013, Mr. Speaker, these banks are 6 in numbers, continue to serve the people of Region 2 well, and under the PPPC administration, these banks are here to stay. Mr. Speaker, 3 huge conglomerates, banks DIH, DDL, and Buster companies are no exception and continue to experience large sales of their commodities in Region 2. Mr. Speaker, as I speak, Buster company will be expanding in Region 2. Mr. Speaker, our gold miners continues to be the bulwark of our gold production, and the Gold Board continue to do good business at charity. As of to our minister, the Honorable Mr. Robert Prasad. Mr. Speaker, our road in Region 2 is now congested with vehicles, and perchance our Honorable Minister should pay some attention pertaining to the widening of the Region 2 road, which will help avoid accidents. Mr. Speaker, our once porous defense continue to receive attention. As I speak, work is ongoing in JC, Zerg, areas Devonshire Castle, Hampton Court, Lima are completed with sturdy rip-rap sea defenses. To the Honorable Minister, Mr. Ben, I salute you. Mr. Speaker, Region 2 also continue to stamp its authority by continuing to be the cleanest region in Guyana. We have learned not to dispose our garbage anywhere but in bin supply. Mr. Speaker, our hotels and our holiday resorts continue to do well. Mr. Speaker, I am shocked at the presentation by some members on that side of this house during the 214 budget presentation. I sometimes wonder if nothing good was done by the PPPC administration in other regions. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Member, Mr. Vulcan, gave this Honorable House the impression that the RDC is the one who should dispense contracts. Honorable Member, you're so wrong. The REO is the accounting officer of the region, and he has his regional tender board, including the minister's representative. He is answerable for the spending in the region, not the regional chairman and his councillors. Get that straight, Mr. Vulcan. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Member also stated that the PPPC government uses regional vehicle to do campaign work. Are you out of your mind, Honorable Member? Mr. Speaker, any minister is entitled to be taken around with any...
Mr. Damon, a minute, please. Mr. Bond, you wanted to rise in a point of order?
No, Mr. Bond, yes, come.
You are signaling me for...
That's all right.
No, members of the opposition, Mr. Greenidge, go ahead, please.
This is parliamentary, acceptable parliamentary language to refer to another member speaking out of their mind.
Honorable, sorry, I have to confess that I did not hear. Mr. Damon, did you refer to a particular or specific member of the House? Pan? Okay. Mr. Damon, okay, it could be seen.
Mr. Speaker, I was just asking a question. Well, all right, that's it. And I've received an answer, Mr. Speaker.
One
He says
second,
no.
please. Sorry, I'm still addressing Mr. Damon. Mr. Damon, you posed a question which I consider to be a rhetorical, or were you really asking the question?
Rhetorical, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member,
Mr. Speaker, does that mean that the rest of us are able to ask, are you an idiot? Is that acceptable?
I have not.
Listen, don't let me turn on you, you know.
Mr. Damon, I appreciate that it's a question, but I would ask that we and members do not speak to other members in that way, because in local parlance it really means that you are not of sound mind. That is what it means in local parlance. We know what it means, and so I think you would appreciate that. So I'd ask that you withdraw that and let's move on. Yes, Mr. Minister.
Because the Honourable Member, Mr. Greenwich, raised the matter. But I sat here yesterday, sir, and several times I heard, with that distinct European accent, nonsense, nonsense, nonsense.
What I would ask you to do is bring it to my attention on the next occasion. So, Mr. Damon, please proceed. Mr. Damon, please proceed. Please proceed.
Okay, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed, please, Mr. Damon.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, the honourable member, Mr. Ramana, went at length to criticize the police force. Indeed, we might have a few bad policemen, but I am aware majority of the police are dedicated and hard-working, trying to do their best to ensure Guyana is a safe place. And in some instances, they lose their lives in process. Mr. Speaker, the honourable member further went on to call on the honourable Minister of Home Affairs to resign. Confounded nonsense.
Okay, Mr. Damon, Mr. Damon. Mr. Damon, I'd ask that you withdraw that. Mr. Damon, you may have heard that reference as politicians in the past, but they use those terms outside of this House. So no member of the House speaks nonsense, and we're not to refer to the presentation or the words of any other member as being nonsense. So that is withdrawn as well.
All right, withdraw, honourable member. Mr. Speaker, I think this 10th Parliament had enough of that call for Honourable Member Roy must go. Honourable Member Minister Roy will never go. He will not resign. Honourable Member Ramaya, Honourable Member Roy is here to stay as the Home Affairs Minister under the PPPC administration. He will not go. Mr. Speaker, I wonder, nothing good was not done in any of these regions that those members on that side of the House fail to enlighten. Mr. Speaker, this is not the campaign trail. It is the parliamentary debate on the 2014 budget with the theme, a better Guyana for all Guyanese. Mr. Speaker, on many occasions, the honourable member, retired brigadier, honourable member, Mr. Granger, called on the PPPC government to address the issue of unemployment. Mr. Speaker, I wonder how the opposition can say no to Amalia Falls Hydro project and talk about jobs. How can members of the opposition say no to the Marriott Hotel project and talk about jobs? And may I remind you.
Okay, honourable members, could we please?
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members.
I need some protection, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, 1 second. One second. Let us, Mr. Damon, please hold. And members, please know that when there's disruption, the clock is stopped, so you don't lose your time. So I think we can safely proceed, Mr. Damon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And may I remind you, Honorable Member, Lieutenant Colonel Armand, that your stay at the Marriott will very soon become a reality. Mr. Speaker, how can the opposition oppose Shady Jagan Airport expansion project and talk about jobs? And also saying no to the specialty hospital project and talk about jobs. Mr. Speaker, all these projects would have created thousands of jobs for our Guyanese brothers and sisters. In the first 5 years, if the Amelia Falls had come into being, experts predicted more than 200 huge investors would have moved to Guyana, and that would have had a great achievement for Guyana. Look, jobs you will have been having there. Honorable Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, your allocation to Region 2 for the development of playgrounds and pavilions were well received. Our region continues to support you and your ministry in your quest to bring the various sporting disciplines to Region 2. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Member, Mr. Trotman, in his 2014 budget speech, asked, what is new? Mr. Speaker, those who have the eyes to see, let them see. And those who have ears to hear, let them hear. Honorable Member, Mr. Trotman, Mr. Speaker, I am prepared to take the Honorable Member, Mr. Trotman, throughout the length and breadth of Guyana, free of cost, to let him see what is new. With my own money, Mr. Speaker, why is the Honorable Member is stifling his conscience? Be man enough to praise where praise should be. To date, Mr. Speaker, the MP on that side, MPs on that side of the Honorable House tried to create an impression that nothing good is done by the PPP administration. Mr. Speaker, the NOC population continue to strive for excellence. Students continue to excel in various chores, which would help them to find jobs or become self-employed when they shall have left that institution. Mr. Speaker, I remember Match Day 2014 in Region 2. About 40 of the NOC population, smartly dressed in their costumes, did win a first prize. Mr. Speaker, additional staff has since been added to the NOC. Honorable Member, Mr. Jones, without the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, permission will not be given for anything.
Mr. Honorable Member, Mr. Damon, please begin to wrap up now.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I'm wrapping up, sir. Mr. Speaker, I vividly remember the words of our late great leader when he was leaving Guyana to seek medical attention overseas. Don't be worried. Everything will be all right. His words did come to pass. Peace, progress, and prosperity are everywhere in Guyana. From Springlands to Region 1, Mr. Speaker, our cricket team, the West Indies, has just qualified for a semi-final berth at the T20 World Cup. And I boast, Mr. Speaker, West Indies will retain the World Cup. Once again, Honorable Minister of Finance, you have done a fantastic job to present such a budget to this Parliament and this country. I praise you. Hats off to you, Mr. Finance Minister. Mr. Speaker, like what lawyers do, I close my case.